Hello everyone, how are you? So this time we have just decided to give you Crux, that what were the major developments of last week. And if we see the way we have gone through the two newspapers, let's say basically we have to follow the Hindu and the Indian Express. On the basis of that, we find some major developments. And first major development can be considered that US imposing 50% tariff on India. Second major development can be considered that there were three bills passed by government or introduced by government. Then third major development is related to, we can consider about social media, you can say social media and its regulation. Supreme Court has asked. The fifth major development can be considered that relating to collegium, you can consider collegium has elevated two judges for appointment from High Court, and that has once again brought debate on collegium. And then if you take on IR side, so two major developments, Prime Minister visited Japan and then he is visiting Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. And in science and technology also, there were 2 to 3 major developments relating to testing, let's say Gaganyaan, and that testing has been done. Similarly, one missile related testing has been done. And Sudarshan Shield has been talked, that our Chief of Defense Staff has talked about Sudarshan Shield on that. India is going to have. Then there were some developments related to artificial intelligence we can consider. And also let's say Gaza has been declared as a famine by United Nations one body. So there were other minor developments we can consider. If you take all these major developments, so in these major developments, if I give you a brief analysis of that, if you take US imposing 50% tariff, how you should take it? So you should take from both perspectives, mains orientation also and prelims orientation also. In mains orientation, you have to see the tariff imposition, India's response, how it is affecting different sectors, and at the same time, let's say what are the options before India, and at the same time, India, let's say how it is, let's say that countering it, and it is trying to keep trade dispute, especially tariff related, on the one hand, and other negotiations on the other hand. And then let's say they are treating it as two separate things, you can say. So as far as trade, let's say tariff is concerned, 50% imposed, you have to see for prelims what are the areas which are affected, and most areas which are affected like textile sector, leather sector, other sector, what are those order, you should see that how they are being affected. And let's say in terms of how India is, let's keep tackling it. So I will give you a view that if you take export driven, you know that the India is almost whatever the exports we do, I think it is about 10% of the total export goes to US. And then India is not a very export driven, let's say that economy, means it will affect, but as for the analysis, if you see different newspapers what analysis they have given, in short run it can have a bit effect, especially on the areas where it is being. But India has faced such challenges in past also, and it has shown its resilience, and that's why India is not reacting to US tariff in terms of retaliation, because it is expected that it may automatically, let's say that US may feel automatically somehow, let's say challenge in terms of isolating India would be very difficult, since it has, let's say soft power as well as hard power. Then as next topic was related to, you can consider about bills related. Let's say one gaming bill has been introduced, another bill relating to prime minister and chief minister and let's say ministers removal, you can say. As far as removal of prime minister, chief minister and other, let's say ministers which hold office there is concerned, it has its own positive side. The positive side is that it is being talked as a doctrine of, one term has been used. It is called doctrine of propriety, you can say that. Propriety, doctrine of propriety has been used, that it will bring moral obligation on positive side if you take to those holding political office, and it will promote, that called greater probity, integrity that you try to link, and moral politics you can consider, clean politics you can consider. But at the same time, let's say its cons, that it has been criticized also, and criticism has been largely revolving around the way we have criminal justice system, and then let's say opposition members, the way they are, let's say detained, arrested, charged. There are also, let's say false allegations against opposition political leaders. And today, even P. Chidambaram has also written an article on that how India can become a country like, comparing to some those countries which are authoritarian type. Because that anyone can be arrested, detained for 1 month deliberately, and then the person chief ministerial post can be removed, you can say. Then will you wait for, means there are certain challenges related to this. And then a good article has been written on that, suggesting that why to remove chief minister or minister when they are arrested only. Why not, let's say, you wait for any charge sheet, when charge sheet is filed, and then see what court has responded to that charge sheet. Because once court responds to that charge sheet, that can be more of a judicial view on that case, and if there is any substance in that case, then it makes sense to remove. And another safeguard has been recommended, why not appoint one such judicial body, you can consider a committee type of body, so that it can first look into the substance of allegation, and if it finds any, let's say that substance, so it can give recommendation, and then decision should be taken. Means if we want to introduce that bill as it has been sent to joint parliamentary committee, so the bill, there is no, let's say that outright rejection of the bill. Its basic rationale is based on doctrine of propriety, you can consider, which is related to promotion of constitutional morality also. So that way you can say. But as far as, let's say that the way we have criminal justice system, the way we have, let's say politics, in which there is a politics of vendetta, you can consider. So from that perspective, it has been argued that there should be some safeguards. So that can be considered related to, we can say, bill related developments, you can say. Now, as far as you can say that India Prime Minister visit to Japan is considered, it is being considered a very good, you can say that political development when there is a tariff and trade dispute going on between India and US. So Japan visit is a kind of, let's say giving a message to US that see, we have options, and there are, let's say over, let's say that huge, I think a certain $1 billion agreement has happened related to bullet train, other investment in Japan. Japan is also all-weather investor, you can consider, all-weather friend who invest. If Russia is all-weather friend in terms of defense relationship, so Japan is considered all-weather friend in terms of economic relationship. So that has given certain leverage to India when Prime Minister has visited Japan, and in case of Shanghai cooperation also. So it is also giving a leverage point to India in the time of such conflicts going on, and somehow, let's say that heat it is sending back to US, because US seems to be getting isolated. And then Prime Minister also had China visit after, I guess 7 years, 6-7 years. Prime Minister visited China, a bilateral talk, you can say. When India and China come close, that gives a message, and it results into somehow two big powers coming together. That, let's say somehow result into US feeling a sort of isolation already US has fear of India. We can see this. Oprah, let's say that Winfrey, she has given one interview in which she has given details that why Americans fear India. And Americans fear India just because of rise of India as it is a soft power as well as hard power. So these are some major developments we can consider for this week. Yes, a major takeaway from science and technology is that is called Sudarshan Shield, which Chief of Defense Staff has talked. That is, it is something, let's say India is going to have its own shield relating to future drone wars and other such, let's say similar type of threats against India, and that will provide a security, let's say that means security to Indian interest you can consider, and it will secure our, let's say, border you can consider, especially related to drones. So this we can consider that is some major developments relating to this week. And since this week, let's say it is nothing but just mains was going on, and we were a bit relatively occupied, that's why it became a bit late. And I will say I have not given that, let's say that a bit depth I can say, a bit facts I can say this week, but hope we will improve next week when we'll bring weekly roundup, and we will try to show you, give you also some, let's say list of, let's say that those PT pointer type gist we can consider, some terminologies we'll try to give, some questions we'll try to give. This way, let's say that we can consider, because there are many related developments. If I say, let's say tariff related, and then what are the related developments? So some other articles have been written, like how India in future, let's say it should tackle it. So one article was written, let's say it was a good article written related to one product. Most of the countries are known for one single product. So why not India should also focus on one single product? And once it focuses on one single product, it would be very difficult for US to impose, let's say, tariff on us, because then it will be also seriously affected. So that article has been, I will tell that good for economic perspective you can consider. Similarly, another article was written related to human resource development, that how ultimately we have to build ourselves strong. So then question comes on human resource development, quality of human resource development, and that article has given again a kind of a review of our human resource development policy initiatives. What are the flaws in that, what we can improve, that you can say. Similarly, in human resource development, another thing comes that is called women related human resource development, women labor force participation. Even if our women labor force participation has improved, it has gone to 37 to 41%, but China has 60%. So the article is trying to talk how we can further improve on women labor force participation, because women, let's say, participation is considered very essential. And then another development was related to dogs. Let's say that dogs related development, you should know that in Delhi other parts, Supreme Court passed one such order on that. Then there was huge response, public protest you can consider. And then let's say now Supreme Court has reviewed, and it has reviewed its own order. It has brought some alteration in this, and in that alteration will tell you that the articles which have been written, they say that there are some ground reality challenges, you can say. Ground reality challenges, that sterilization challenge. Unless you sterilize dogs to 70% in a city, sterilization is not effective. The institutions which are responsible for sterilization and other regulation of dogs movement, they have vacancies in their offices 40%, 50%, 60%. How we are going to execute it? Then question comes to, let's say, social media regulation. Supreme Court has told to government, that has resulted into almost, I will tell you that newspapers criticizing Supreme Court. that now it has given opportunity to state to regulate social media, which what in past fact check body which government wanted to create, the Supreme Court has struck it. So today also one article has come on this social media regulation. So it will go on. We will try to give you in next week when we'll give you a crux on that. What is the development related to social media, its commercialization and regulation, pros and cons that you can say. Similarly, let's say sir special intensive revision in Bihar, that issue is also going on and some articles have been written on that. On that also we'll try to give you a gist type of thing that how let's say that this the legally what is the legal aspect of this initiative, political aspect of that initiative, judicial aspect of that initiative, and then let's say citizen let's say aspects of that initiative you can consider. From that perspective you have to know it is an ongoing debate also, and you should know that there are some legal aspects relating to especially intensive revision. You can say it will go it will also I think it is going to be conducted also in West Bengal. So we have to see that how it is going to be conducted over there. So since it is going to be in news and it is one important aspect of political development you can consider, so we should know about its all different dimensions. Our approach will be to give you, tell you, help you more about highlighting these developments and telling that what you should read when you read those sources, how you should pay attention to them. At the same time, you can also send feedback to us so that we can further improvise, as I have said that, and we should improve because we want to improve this channel and we want to make it a two-way channel, you can say, two-way communication. Even if we are giving it a recorded lecture, recorded session, but we will try to make it two-way. So your feedback will be very important. So you do write feedback after watching this video. All the best.